Hello, YouTubers. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for being here today. Well, today I'm going to give you a little bit of why I feel Meghan Markle's show is not going to make it and give some good advice. I think the things that I say could help Meghan. They really can. They're not here to just say not nice things just because. There's always constructive criticism around things we all do. And it's up to the person to listen and to want to get better. But I'm going to give you some good insight into why I feel Meghan is not going to do well. I'm sure some of you already know, but I'm just going to give you some insight just from the episode that I watched with her and her two girlfriends, Kelly and Abigail. Meghan has got some issues, and I think this episode really showed me some things, some insight. This woman is, just not going to work. Gotta start to listen, but she can't. And I think that's the problem. Okay? That's what I'm talking about today. Let's get into it. I want to thank everyone that has since followed me on Facebook. I hope you are enjoying my Facebook channel. I'm trying to really get into making some really cool, fun videos on my Facebook channel. And for those who are watching me speak Deutsch, ich spreche Deutsch, ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch. I speak German. I'm learning, so I'm doing some short videos on things that are happening, pretty interesting stories. So if you want to follow me and watch me as I attempt to tell stories in German, please follow me on p-dina.venmo. The link is in the description. Now, I'm going to give you something to think about, and maybe you've already seen this, but really quickly, before I go into that, now I want you all to look at this picture of, this is supposed to be Lilibet. Now I'm going to focus, just because of the time, I'm just going to focus on this little girl, Lilibet. This is a picture of Lilibet running towards Harry and Meghan for their card that they put out late last year. Now, let me ask you a question. When you look at this picture and then you look at this most recent video that Meghan put out of making cookies, I mean, I'm sorry, but the child is 3 years old. So she would look more like this picture with them making these cookies. This picture of this Lilibet in this photo right here, this girl is at least 5-6 years old. I mean, that girl is not the same as the girl in this most recent video right here of them making cookies. It's just not the same person. I mean, Lilibet looks like a 3-year-old, the age she is right now, in this photo right here, making cookies. Where did this child come from? Like, who is this kid? This is part of the problem. Because this child in this photo right here, this is a child that is definitely not the same child in this most recent video of Lilibet making cookies as a 3-year-old. Like who is this? That's the problem. You don't want to be real. You don't want to be authentic, and that's part of your problem. So this is the episode that I watched. This episode right here. And in this episode, Meghan had two of her friends over, Abigail Spencer and Kelly Zyphon. Now, here's the thing that I thought when I watched this episode. These are people that Meghan says that she has known for a long time. Well, Abigail Spencer, she worked with on Suits. She saw her at auditions prior to Suits. That's just casually. I mean, that happens. You're going out for the same parts. You know, there are people that I would see at auditions, same girls all the time. Just casually, you get to know them. But it wasn't until Abigail started working with Meghan on Suits that they developed a friendship. Well, that was in 2007, around 2007. And then this other girl, Kelly Zyphon. Okay, so these are people that are her friends that she has known since she's essentially been an adult. Okay? But she always says, friends that I've known since I was in middle school, since I was a kid. These are not people that you have known since you've been a kid. You have known these people since you have been an adult. Okay? And so the friendship, the bond that Meghan is showing with these two ladies in this episode, this is not a deep-rooted bond of memories of, remember when we did this, girl, and remember this, and when you were adolescents and you did all these crazy things. No one's impressed by these friendships that Meghan is saying that she has, because these are friendships that are not well rooted in history of your knowing each other. There's not a long-term history of you having this friendship. The real friendships that go way back to when you were a kid, these are the friendships that you would think, that you would expect Meghan to have for this show, because these are the friendships that have been able to last over the years. But we know Meghan doesn't stay friends with people for long. As soon as they do something that is not befitting of what she likes, or you do something to make her upset, she's going to get rid of you. And that's what she's done with several of her friends. The most prevalent friend that I know that she's had since she was a little baby girl child is Nanaki Pretty. She is the one that she has known since she was in elementary school. Where's that friendship? See, these are the things that you have to ask yourself when you're really falling for the okie doke that Meghan is trying to feed people. Like she's trying to feed you a bunch of nonsense. She's like, here, take some of this nonsense here. These are my friends. You know, that's her feeding you some nonsense. Okay? We want to know about the friendships that go way, 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 way back. These are the meaningful relationships that people want to hear about, because they give us insight into who you are when you were a little kid. Okay? So we're not falling for these friendships so far that we have seen Meghan with. So far, she has had only, in the first episode, her makeup artist. The second episode was Mindy Kaling, who she's met recently since coming to Los Angeles. So that's not even a real friendship. That's just an acquaintance, someone that you want to come out and hang out with you so you can try to make your money. Okay, that's not like a friendship. And then she had the Korean Mexican chef Roy that she cooked with on the episode number 3. Oh, and then in episode 4, who is she with? She's with Nacho's wife. Okay, good old Nacho. Nacho Day. Nacho, that guy, right? His wife. Like, you just know her because, yeah, that's the wife of your husband's friend. So where are the deep-seated friendships? You know, it's like here she's like, take some more nonsense. She's trying to feed us nonsense, y'all. And then in this next episode that I'm talking about today with these two friends, Abigail and Kelly, these are not friends that you go way back with. There's no deep-seated, rooted, meaningful childhood memories, because Meghan cannot sustain friendships for very long before she ghosts people. We know that her one friend, Jessica Maroney, who was in her wedding, her daughter was in the wedding. She's gotten rid of this Jessica because of a hiccup she had, controversy around racism, where she was, got into this big huffy, and Meghan didn't want anything to do with a friend that could put disdain on her. Like, okay, girl, you gone. I'm not your friend. This is about my image. You're bad for my image. I'm not your friend. You know, and so Meghan is just like throwing people away. Like she wanted her father to throw away his 2 children, Samantha and Thomas Markle Jr. Literally. Meghan told her father, disown your children from your first marriage if you want a relationship with me. That's a fact. This is not allegedly. That's what she did. Thomas Markle Sr. told me this. Samantha and her brother have said this. I mean, really think about that, people. Think about that. Meghan wanted her father to disown his children in order to have a relationship with her. This is not a woman that values relationships, the good and the bad. She only wants the purdy of the relationships. And if it can't be the way she sees purdy, the way she sees pretty, then she doesn't want it. I mean, I would have loved to have seen an episode with Meghan and her friend Nanaki from way back when they were little kids. You know how much insight there would have been from that episode? It would have had so much depth and meaning. This relationship with these two girls, Abigail and Kelly, is superficial. It's artificial. It is so bland and dry and not interesting at all. Okay, I'm going to go through this episode because I think it warrants some insight into why Meghan is just not going to do well with this series. It's already going down in the numbers. We all expected it to be really high up in the beginning. People were wanting to come out and see what it was going to be like. There was all this talk and build up to Meghan and her show because remember, this is Meghan's buildup from leaving the royal family. What is the big excitement around the things that Meghan wanted to do? What warranted her giving up her life of service in the royal family? It was this show right here on Netflix, y'all. And I'm telling you, something is wrong. Something is wrong because this is what she wanted to do. From the very beginning. We know she was planning while she was in the royal household. She was planning while walking down the aisle getting married. She's like, oh yeah, I'm going to get that Netflix cooking show. Walking down, getting ready to get married to Harry. You know, getting ready to marry this man. All in her head, she knows this is going to be temporary living in the United Kingdom. It was planned. So going into this episode, when Meghan was in her vehicle driving and, you know, going to go get the flowers for this special friends thing that they were going to have, I was just thinking, looking at her driving and thinking, do you know we can see you? Like seriously, Meghan, do you see us just watching you act like there's no big elephant in the middle of the road? I mean, do you know the controversy that's behind you? You just la-di-da, I'm gonna go buy me some flowers. She's just driving and just kind of like in her world of fantasy around all of the explosiveness around this woman and the things that she has done. And she's just like, she's in her zone driving to go get the flowers. And it's just like, wow, I'm fascinated. I'm really fascinated that she just does not address it. It's like the big elephant in the middle of the road. And she's swerving the elephant in the road. She's like, I'm not going to see that elephant. I'm not going to address it. I'm just going to keep driving. And that's what she does. She just keeps driving, you know, forget the big elephants in the middle of the road. You know, she's got a show to do. And that's what she's doing. I mean, that just stood out to me in that moment. She talked about the flower arrangements and, you know, how she learned how to make these flower arrangements during her baby shower that was given to her in New York City. We all remember while she was living in the United Kingdom, her friends, they flew her out in a private jet to New York City at a very expensive hotel to have a baby shower. And it just was a big controversy because it's yet again, you're not adhering to the things that you've been talking about with your husband about preserving the planet and your carbon emissions and trying to preserve things to be good for the earth, to have less fuel emissions, around the things that you do. But yet here she goes getting on a private plane to go to New York City for a baby shower. Okay, so she learns about this then. This is when she got into this. But what I found interesting when she was talking about doing the flower arrangements, you know, she made this out to be something that she does all the time. She does it to calm herself down, you know, whatever, you know, feels good that day with the flowers. Oh, this color feels good. Okay, we're going to gravitate to this. Oh, we're going to gravitate to this. You know, there's just like all these little feelings of gravitating towards things because of the flowers and the colors and what does it make you feel like today? Okay, so you get the impression that she does this a lot. But what stood out to me is when she was going through and picking off the flower studs of the roses, the little pricklies on the roses. These gloves that she was wearing were pristine, brand new. They did not look like gloves of someone that was using these all the time. And I think that's the problem. Meghan doesn't want to show the ugly sides. Meghan doesn't want to talk about the things that have been uncomfortable. She doesn't want to show the authentic moments in her life. And everything has to be pretty. Rather than using gloves, if she really has them, that will show that you are using these gloves all the time. Girl, you are doing your thing with these flowers and you're using these gloves that have been well used. But she uses these very brand new gloves. And it was so symbolic to me of Meghan and what she's not. She's not someone who is willing to be authentic, to show you, things that may not look so nice all the time, just so that you kind of get to know who she is. Okay? Trust me, folks. In my book that I wrote, I've written about some things that, it's the good, the bad, all these things are what make me who I am. And if you're going to tell people who you are, you might as well at least show some things that are going to give you perspective about who you are. You can't always want to show the pretty side. Okay. Yet again in this episode, she's addressing the girls as the girls, the boys, like I mentioned in my other episode where she always talks about the boys, calling her husband and Nacho boys. And then she refers to her friends in this episode as the girls, and I just think it's very demeaning. Every once in a while, okay, but if that's like your go-to word for your friends, you don't really think too highly of them because you're kind of putting them down like girl. And it wasn't in a playful, fun way. It was like how she addresses them. And I just think that's demeaning to people when you're not trying to show a lighthearted moment. It's a little condescending to me. And this is how this relationship is really going to hit a roadblock. I mean, a big roadblock, because part of the issue is the children. And we know that they don't want to show their children. They don't want to have their children a part of the show, although Netflix wanted the children a part of the show. Meghan refers to the children quite often. She referred to Archie a couple times and also Lily during this episode. And it's almost like if you want your children to be behind the scenes, don't address them. Don't talk about them purposefully. It's almost as if the children are written into the script to mention, talk about Archie and the eggs, talk about Archie going fishing, talk about, it's almost like it's on purpose. And I think if you're really trying to not show your children, why are you speaking about them so much? Why are you drawing so much attention to the children? And the reason why is because Meghan wants to sell these children for the show, because that's going to bring in numbers. But Harry says no. But Meghan insists on doing this. Not only that, but Meghan doesn't even allow Harry to take the children with him alone back to the United Kingdom. That's a no-no. I can almost guarantee you that Harry has wanted to do that. And Meghan has not allowed it. And that's another video, but I know why she doesn't want to do it. She's afraid they'll never come back. But they are just as much as Harry's kids as they are Meghan's. Allegedly. Okay? Why? So there's a big problem between Harry and Meghan right now around these children. The dynamic of what Meghan wants and what Harry wants is so polarizing. It's cracking. The relationship is cracking under the pressure of what to do that is agreeable by both of them around these children. That's another episode, but that's a part of what I'm going to be talking about in another video, because I'm telling you people, this is a couple that is no longer aligned in purpose and no longer really together. Although they may want you to see that. By the things that we're seeing with Meghan trying to show these children, talk about these children, and Harry not wanting that, there are cracks. Because Meghan is doing things that he does not want. And when I was watching these girls, I thought that's a lot of hair hanging over some food. I mean, for real, ladies, can you just put the hair back in a ponytail? I mean, all that hair hanging over the food was so cringe for me. And I thought, no, just Yeah, y'all eating the food. Okay, it's okay. You want to have hair in your food, go right ahead. But I just felt like it just did not seem like you would be cooking food with all that hair hanging over your food. And what really stood out to me is how they were focused on cooking, but there was no real camaraderie amongst these women. I felt like I would not want to be there with them. Real, true fun, friends hanging out together. You just watch them. You're like, oh man, I wish I was there. Oh, that looked like so much fun. But when I watch it, I'm like, ugh. I mean, what? They just seem, their relationship, their connection to each other did not seem to connect like real friends. There was no reminiscing about XYZ that happened, whenever. It's like these are very newly formed relationships that don't have any depth to them. So there's not much that you can get out of this type of a friendship to make it interesting on camera while you're cooking. I mean, I'm telling you, get me in a room with some of my friends that I went to school with, we're going to have some stories. We're going to be cooking up a hot mess, talking and laughing and having a good time. But with Meghan, they seem very sterile in terms of, okay, your place is here, your place is here. And we met. When did we meet? Oh, yeah, we met. And yeah, when we were on the set of Suits and blah. Oh, yeah, and we met at the wedding and blah, blah. I mean, like, we have this kind of friendship. These are the lines and the barriers, and we're cooking, yes, and we're cooking. Oh, yes, let's go get this out of the fridge, and let's get the fish. Okay, here's your fish, your fish. And, it's like there were clear lines of where the boundaries are in these relationships because they don't know each other really that well. I mean, Meghan has had some time knowing this Abigail girl, but I mean, how deep is it as a friendship that really is lighthearted and fun? And I think that's what's missing. This is the point of why Meghan can't succeed with this show, is because there is so much. It's just like, be on your best behavior. Be good. You're on my show. Be good. I mean, a real friend is going to tell you things that you may not want to hear, but it's still fun and you can get away with saying it because your friendship is that deep. But these are the kind of friendships where you better don't you do it. You better be on your best behavior. Okay. And it's almost like you got to tread lightly. And I think for a show where you're inviting friends over and you're cooking and you're doing these things, it should be loose. It's like, loosen up, have some fun, and like, okay, go get the fish out the oven, girl. We're gonna hook it up. We're gonna do all these things, but it just did not hit in a way that made it lighthearted, airy, laughing and fun, enjoying things, and it just seems like they were walking on eggshells, the girls, because the friendship is not very well trenched in deep memories of togetherness, if that makes sense. And the problem that Meghan has with this show, for me, this episode spoke volumes about the depth of Meghan's friendships that she has. If this show is about friends, you want friends that you have been with for a very long time that can reminisce with you and go way, way back. The stories Nanaki could tell, the things that she has experienced with Meghan growing up would have been so interesting to hear while cooking. It's hard to feel that when you are in a relationship with a friend that you're still really trying to get to know. And I think that's what Meghan has with these girls, these ladies. She's still really trying to get to know them. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we all have friends that we're still trying to get to know. But when you base a show on entertaining your friends and giving us something that is meaningful, it would have been so much more meaningful to come from a place that was drenched or was really steeply defined in a tight bond that you would have had with a long time friend.
Okay, this video is getting too long. I'm going to end it here. See you in the next one. Bye.